Hello, Wanderers, and welcome back to our Elder Kings 2 roleplay series following Clan Direnni and Ferordomas the Manmer. As you can see, Ferordomas has decided to go for a little bit of a new look, a little bit more clean-shaven, letting his hair grow out a little bit. He's getting on in years, and he's kind of leaving his youth. Now, he is 40 years old, but in terms of the Altmer, that is still just a young man, so he's decided to change his looks a little bit. We did have an event that popped up at the end of the last episode, a letter from our grandfather, the Kinlord Ankotar. Let's read this letter. My dear grandson, as you have no doubt heard by now, I have had to leave quickly and unexpectedly to handle business and social engagements of a delicate nature. I don't recall hearing of this. I had time to grab a few things, but please send the following items to the docks immediately. I have secured the help of an agent to make sure these items follow after me on the next available transport. 3 trunks of clothing designated for short business trips. The 7 trunks of garments designated for post-social engagements. 3 coffers of gold for incidental spending and shopping sprees. Thank you for your help dealing with this matter. Signed, Kinlord Ankotar of Balfiera. That does not sound to me. I don't know if I can trust this letter. Indeed, that doesn't sound like the Kinlord. Our liege is disappointed. Apparently it was actually the case. Well, we offended our grandfather by not providing him the things that he needed. I imagine we'll have to deal with that somewhat, but an honest mistake, as it were. You can never trust these things in certain times with the politics going on nearby. Indeed, things are getting a little bit dicey. Obviously, as you'll remember, the King of Wayrest was raiding into the lands of Balfiera. Indeed, and we also have King Amarbet of Camlorn distinguishing himself as a dishonorable villain. Not to mention Gavaldon, who we were acting against in the last episode, and we will continue to do so. Indeed, we may even be able to get an unpressed claim due to our high prestige in Arcana, which I think, indeed, that's going to take away some of our prestige. Well, we might need to save our prestige for now, but we do have that option. And then I did notice that King Percival of Evermore indeed is a vindictive villain as well. So we are surrounded essentially almost on all sides by enemies. And we will have to deal with that sooner or later, but we need to deal with one thing at a time. Now, one of our main things here would probably be to secure our western border with Camlorn by putting Osring on the throne. Unfortunately, we don't have the prestige to press Osring's claims, so that is really quite unfortunate. We may need to act against Gavaldon first then, use up our prestige, get that claim, and then potentially declare war on him once our truce runs out. I think that may be the best option. We will need to increase our prestige, probably by going on some hunts and things of that nature. I am going to get that unpressed claim, just in case we lose this option in the future. So we'll spend the Arcana, or the prestige, to get this claim, and so we would be able to deal with him for 250, so we'll secure Gavaldon. Then we'll probably move against Camlorn. Hopefully Osring will live long enough. In fact, I would like to sway him, get him over to our side, maybe even become friends. That should assist us in getting an alliance with him in the future as well. So we will definitely be keeping an eye on that. So, we do need to increase our county control in Julce. We'll get Snagbash on that. I did notice that in the meantime, Sevion did have a child actually 9 years ago. She is hale, rowdy, and forgiving, so obviously part Altmer, but she doesn't have the the trait, so she is going to have just a normal human lifespan, but she didn't inherit that elven lifespan from her mother Minantonwe, but she did inherit some of those elven look. So yeah, we'll let time tick by. We'll build up some money, build up some prestige, preferably by going on hunts and things like that. My son Andame just finished a lesson held by Sevian on the management of the treasury and the gold therein. Andame seems to have taken the lesson to heart with a reinforced sense of justice. He is constantly talking to everyone about how everyone from the highest Castellan to the lowest Chandler plays their part in the economy of the realm. Ah, he could get just. I do like that. Sevian teaching our son to be just. Excellent. He's gonna grow up to be a good man. That does remind me, I do want to get ourselves a court tutor, and I think that perhaps Cordis, who is Jonas's wife, might be suitable for that. Ah, finally. We finally lost the trait Wounded. There we go, looking a little bit better now. We still are missing our eye, but we no longer have the Wounded trait, so we're a little bit out of the worst of it now. But one-eyed is what it is. So now that we have a court tutor, is there anything that we want to do in terms of like getting our children to learn any extra languages? Could learn the Nordic language. What do you speak right now on Dame? Altmer and Bredic, so the important ones. I mean, the Nords are pretty close. It's actually interesting that Osring has this claim on Cam Lorne, even though he is a Nordic man. We'll get Don Dame to study the Nordic language, just in case the Nords do get these claims here and we end up taking these lands. So, what about you? What language are you speaking? Altmeris, Nordic, and Bretic? Perfect. You need to speak some more languages here. So you can study, let us say, the Bretic language. Today, my son Ambaran was taught a lesson in vassal management by Hordis. It was a complicated course, necessary, but perhaps a bit beyond Ambaran's grasp. I must let things take their time, Ambaran says. Only by being patient and letting my subjects work at their own pace may I rule wisely. Ambaran seems unaware that some subjects would willingly waste his time. Patient is a good trait, though. I think that we will allow our son to learn to be patient. Patient, or bossy, hale. He's getting that warlike education, so that's going to be good. There we go. And Osring is turning in our favor. So we have a couple more years to wait before we can declare this war. Indeed, we have that truce for, what is it? I think 2 or 3 more years here. I'm walking in the gardens with some of the lords at court when I notice my chancellor Natanwe approaching. I step aside to let her pass, but to my great surprise, she blocks my path and kneels before me. Before I have time to properly process this turn of events, Natanwe begins to sing. I quickly recognize the tune. It is a famous Balfieri love ballad. I have heard it performed countless times, but never with such skill or passion. The intense emotions of the song are mirrored in Natanwe's gaze, which is set on me. She does not look away for a single heartbeat. Unfortunately, Natanwe, did you not know that I am deeply in love with my wife? Do not continue with such things. You have a husband. Sing such songs to him. We are building up that money, which is perfect. Can we get this hunt? Looks like we need to wait a few more years for that too. What about a feast? We could do a feast, but we just need a little bit more money. Now, obviously, building up our place would be quite good, but it's gonna take us forever to get the money from that. Our best chance is really to expand our power base and act from there. A threat. My wife is casting sideways glances, wandering in empty hallways and play. Somebody is paying close attention to Allison. must be plotting something. I'm very confused by the wording here, but something must be a little bit up with that. Allison is up to something. What is she up to something? Probably mistaken. My wife must be warned. I am probably mistaken. Oh, is exposed as an agent in a learn language scheme. Yeah, I don't think I'm too concerned about somebody trying to learn that language. Oh, and there we go. My son learned Bretic through observation. Perfect. And you speak Bretic as well. Got a bunch of bilingual children. Sway religious convictions. I have gotten an idea in my attempts to align Osring to my interests. Perhaps I could argue that it is in the interest of all Nordic cultists to support me, rather than any other adamantine ruler. Interesting. Perhaps I could keep... 55% chance. Ooh, I mean, we could potentially lose a lot of prestige there. I'm not willing to risk that loss of prestige, but we could have Osring listening to us specifically. I'm gonna try it. He is convinced. Oh, nice. So Osring obviously is now considering us to be, probably his closest ally in the Balfieri court. So that is exactly all that we could really, really hope for. And our young daughter needs a guardian, and we will get her mother to do that. Perfect. And she will be able to learn magic from her mother because her mother is skilled in such matters. One of the children at court Ambaran has taken the ragdoll of a young herbo and thrown it into a nearby cave. My son was there and saw it all happen. He ran into the cave and didn't come out for almost half an hour, but when he did, he retrieved the toy, much to the annoyance of Ambaran. Very brave, albeit perhaps somewhat foolish. Excellent. Such bravery is commendable. And Dame, look at those traits. Calm, just, brave. Aren't those exactly... Yeah, calm, just, brave. He's exactly being raised much the same as us. He's just a good young man here, Andame is. Alright, so how much time before this truce runs out? 2 more years. Alright, so time to build up. Pa shouts Andame directly into my ear. My eyes open up reluctantly, one at a time. That's one way to wake up. The small child next to my bed, well, I mean, he's 13, so he's not small, but he's positively vibrating with excitement, clutching mittens and an expensive wooden platter. It is snowing, and I want to go sledding. Will you take me? Let's see. Do we want to? I mean, we could lose a bunch of stress, but, we could gain a chance to gain a friendship with our son. So... let's do so. We're gonna live a long time together, so. Host a feast. Do we spend our money on this feast? I mean, we need the prestige, and it will give us that. Or do we save our money? I think we gotta save it and try to go for the hunt. We're not making that much. And it is more important to develop our prestige through hunting, which is going to give us a bigger boost than a feast will, and it's also going to reduce our stress, which would be ideal in these circumstances. So let us deal with this. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to get enough prestige to press Osring's claims. I mean, it's going to give us a huge fame penalty if we don't, though. I mean, we'll probably press his claims on the Principality just to save it. He can form a kingdom on his own later on if he wishes, but that'll be his concern, really. Commotion among the children. Pirtar was attempting to preach. Never back down from a challenge, Ambaran. Indeed, Ambaran, you should become brave as well. There we go. A couple brave young men that we are raising here. So I'm going to let a little time pass, and we will come back and just after we finish with this event. Osring is susceptible to my attempts at approaching him. I can include a compliment in my next missive to his court. I mean, he's in our court, so be sure to mention his sense of loyalty and honor Indeed, I imagine he is a man of honor, is he not? Ah, see, it's been a source of joy for her. We get along well with this man. So yeah, we will wait. We will take Gavaldon, and then I think once we have Gavaldon, the trouble is that I think that's going to make us an independent ruler because our grandfather does not have a king tier title. So I think once we take Gavaldon, that's actually going to make us independent, which will be interesting. Let's try to maintain subtlety. As you can see, we have just gained a level of fame, which is pretty good. We are now distinguished, which is good. Now I have been just considering here for a moment what it's going to mean if we do break away from the main Direnni line here and take the title here from King Henry. Now, that will give us a lot more options, indeed, and there is still the possibility of us eventually, I mean, we're going to probably inherit our... Oh no, it looks like our sister is going to inherit our father's land, so I think that it still makes sense to continue on this way and then maybe try to, like, come back in with Balfiera later, or depending on how things go, we may just... I'm not entirely sure really what's gonna happen. We'll probably continue in much the same way we have, but we would be an independent ruler. My spy master has come to me with grave news. While we do not yet know who, someone is plotting against my friend Snagbash. We must stop the villain behind them. Indeed we must. The way I would see it would be if we were to become independent. I think that would just more mean not that we don't still kind of owe our fealty to our family and to the kinhold, but it would just mean that we've kind of expanded our power base enough that we're not necessarily just beholden to the rulers here, or to the ruler of Kinhold, our grandfather. I think it would just mean we're more independent. I would still kind of consider us to be part of the Direnni line, and we would probably get an alliance with them and just kind of solidify that. That would probably be what I would consider to be how things would play out. We got a little bit of a mental break here, and I don't think we're gonna turn to the cult of Hermaeus Mora, and I don't think that we're gonna become reclusive. I think we're gonna just try to bite our lip and stay focused. Honestly, that it seems like more of what our character would do. We're gonna need that hunt soon, but we should have an opportunity in not too long. We gain another magical lifestyle perk here. Journeyman Restoration, Mend Wound, or Apprentice Alteration, Fortify Walls. I'd like to get this Mend Wound one. I think that's going to be helpful, and then we're going to probably continue back down that trait. And after a little while, we're probably going to switch back over to martial traits. So, can we go against King Henry? Not quite yet. We might have a chance to do a hunt. Here we go. Okay, we can do the hunt. We'll do that. I want to get that stress loss, and I want to get that prestige. So let us do so. My wife, the Allison, is the first to see it. The flighty heart is hard to distinguish from its surroundings, but it is observing us through the undergrowth. I lock eyes with the animal, and it's almost as if it can sense my intention, for suddenly it takes off. We're-eyed. Oh, we might actually get enough prestige to press Osring's claim instead. Interesting. My world narrows to the nature surrounding us as we follow the heart on its escape through the ravine. Riding side by side with Castell and Allison, I can hear the dogs barking, men shouting. Excitement flows through me as we gain slowly on our quarry. Another 75. Ooh. Look at that prestige ticking up. It might be enough to press Osring's claims. What in the world is my son Ambaran doing in that wardrobe within the servants' quarters? Playing hide and seek as he claims? He looks like a fool, smiling, flustered cheeks, truly barely able to... Oh no. He must have seen two of the stable boys plucking a chicken together. That isn't done. Okay. Restrain yourself. Randy Little Butterfur. Save it for when you're grown up. Yeah, indeed. Save it for when you are growing up. I don't think we can take this hit here. He can, once he's older, he can do what he wants, but, he's a little bit young for that. We might get enough prestige to press these claims. A good kill. Excellent. So things... Our plans might change here. We might not break free with that independence just yet. We return home invigorated, 150. Yeah, okay, so I really didn't think we were going to get enough prestige that quickly, but those events really turned in our favor. Rather than get it going and getting that independence against Gavaldon, I mean, we could just take a county, but we could claim that title here. Indeed, I think it's time to press those claims against Cam Lorne. We want to put Osring in charge. And there we go. I mean, we have the chance. It's just going to be, we're not, it's still essentially a kingdom or a principality, but it should be fine. I mean, we have the advantage in the troops. Is there anything we need to do to kind of prepare in the meantime? Should we increase the size of these? We cannot anyways. Get another man-at-arms regiment. I still want to save up my money. I think we should be all right. Declaring the war. We've got the advantage in the troops. Does he have any? He doesn't have any allies. We've got some relatively strong allies here. We've got the Direnni sorcerers. We're a pretty powerful leader. We have awesome knights. I think that we should be good. So we're going to declare that war. We are going to raise our armies and join up with our allies, hopefully. We shall call them in. That's going to take a little bit more of our prestige. We're going to suffer a little hit to our prestige. I'm fine with that. We're going to go into the negative a bit here, but we should get it back pretty quickly. We'll probably get it back once the war is done, actually. So let's gather up our forces. Jonas is there in the fight. I think we'll put ourselves in charge here, actually. Can we gather up our forces with our allies? Perfect. So we currently have we're about evenly matched, but I do want to wait for our father's forces to get here. Are they going to come in and try to come for us? No, it looks like they're going to move that way. Okay. We can move this way as well. Are they going to come here, and can we meet them in Coegria? Tuition on Dame has come to an end. Our son is now old enough, and look at that. He's a master mage. What? Look at that. Oh my gosh. A master mage. Look at his Arcana, 21. He's an avid learner. Yeah, like astute intellectual. Oh, this is a good character. Ritual slots +2, Arcana +8. Magical lifestyle experience +40. They grow up fast. Oh man, that is very impressive. Righteous adventurer. Excellent. Okay, where's the enemy army? Can we see them? I haven't entered Coegria. All right. Let us seek them out in battle if we can here. Otherwise, we'll just go and try to siege down some of their lands. Looks like we'll start here in Penmarch. I'm curious if they would try to counter siege us, but we shall see. I'll let the siege a little time pass, and we will see what happens once the siege is a little bit further along. All right, as you can see here, the siege of Penmarch is done, and now we are getting sieged down ourselves in Boreain. It says we don't have the best chance here, but once our allies all join in, that should give us the advantage, I think. So let us try to catch the enemy army here. Can we get them in Coegria? Or are they going to move too quickly for us? Oh, we might be able to catch them. Indeed, and it looks like we may have the slight advantage here. Would you be better off? More commander traits. I mean, Jonas. Should we put Jonas in charge of this battle? I mean, perhaps we should. Let you know what? Sorry, Jonas. We are the ruler, and it's up to us to do this fight. And so here we go. Talmo was maimed, but looks like and Sevion was maimed as well. Ouch! I'm so sorry, Sevion. That is terribly unfortunate. But you're fighting well. Are fighting well, and look at this. It looks like we are going to be successful in this battle here, and with that, victory comes to us over the forces of Camlorn. Take a look at that battle. Look at those details. And Duir was slain in the battle. Count Rodor of Yakalon was slain in that battle. We just had such a vast superiority in the amount of battle reeves and the skill of our battle reeves that no doubt turned the tide of the battle. So we will be continuing this war against Camlorn in the next episode. Until then, thank you for watching.